b6Pro on d4. Right. I seem to remember a gambit I played against this. How does it go? Against the Owens defence. What about playing a3 to be annoying to stop bishop e4s? Actually, I think I remember the sort of gist of the game. It was to play d5. I could still play it here. Still play it here. Okay. I'm hoping he's a bit less comfortable with this position, even though he's a pawn up. But for example, castles, bishop h7. Okay, there. Maybe c4 and bishop c6. Bishop e4 to c6. Or is he solid? I'll go with c4 anyway, just in case bishop e4 is useful. Is it? Maybe not. Maybe queen c2 instead. Right. So he's fairly solid here. Right, so I'll just play bishop b2 maybe. Play for bishop b2. Yep. So I haven't got much for the pawn, unfortunately. Right, going back to c1, bishop f4 and queen c1, just aiming for bishop h6 if he allows that. He's going to play knight d4 maybe, or bishop b2 though. Oh, b6Pro, yeah, so he's professional with b6, the Owens. Okay. Bishop f5 here? CD? What about CD? Queen d5, maybe bishop e4. Right. Okay. This could get nasty because of. I'm going to have to do something like this, otherwise bishop f3 and knight d4 would be awful. Have I got some sort of pressure compensation? Probably not. e-file. It's going to play rook e8. Maybe rook g4. Maybe there is some pressure. If I can get rook e1 in, be seizing control of this file. If he plays rook e8, rook g4. Okay, double pawns. Okay, not so bad. Oh, I think I'll play on because of knight h4 to f5. Don't want to draw. I don't know. Maybe the draw is the logical thing to do. Although b4, b5, I can save my pawns on this side. Let's do this for the moment. If I can get in b5 in, that will restrain 2 pawns for the price of 1. Okay, and at least rook d3 is not a problem. So then I can do knight h4 to f5. That would be an ideal square. I suppose he's got rook d5. I can start playing for it though, maybe g4 or h3 first. He's got f5, that's the problem. How about rook f4 first? Put some immediate pressure on f6. Then something like, does h4 get in the way? I don't want to use that square for the rook, so maybe h3 to get my king, give my king some air. Then after h3, knight h4 to f5. then maybe rook e3 to g3, so the two rooks and the knight hopefully coordinate. In the meantime, well, he might have a knight on e5, but his king might be on g7. Aha. So I'll start that plan, I think. Knight h3 to f5. Knight h4 to f5. Oops, rook d1. Why did I want to allow rook d1? I could have just done king h2. Didn't want to rook off. Still, knight f5. I think maybe b5 to seal these pawns, but then b5, my b5 would be a bit weak, but it is already. In fact, you can just play rook b1. Ouch. Right, knight f5 anyway. Okay. Is g4 out of the question on knight e7? Knight e7 or g4? Right, g4 here. So king g5 is a bit menacing, actually. King g3 here or f3? King g3, I can. Rook d3. Oh, okay. How about b5? Go with that pawn. Maybe knight d4. Ouch. Attacking f2 as well. Right, I don't want to repeat, so what about just rook move? He's got rook d3 if he wants it. How about f4 here? Check first. Knight e3. Knight e3 actually looks for the moment the safest, and then king g3. Okay. f4, f5. Oh, hang on. Rook move first, I think. Or f3, f3 to stop the knight coming to e4. Then knight f5. Okay, knight f5 again. So with the possibility of switching the rook to h6 and then f4 mating. So rook b2 here. First going to drive that rook back with rook a3 just to get the rook back to d7. Okay, and now rook a2 to h2. A bit like programming, isn't it? Programming the opponent's pieces. So we're at knight h4 now. So the king, if it goes here, then f4. If it goes there, then rook h2 with tempo. So I'm getting somewhere, I think. The king's getting driven back. That doesn't look pleasant to face knight f5. Cool, I've got a 30-second advantage. So knight f5 is not doing much at the moment. So hang on, back over here. So I've got a superior knight. Go back to f5 now. Okay, am I really making headway? Maybe the c file instead to play rook c8. E file to play rook e8. Rook e8. Okay, put some pressure on that a7 pawn, and there's a lot of time pressure now. Maybe I can just take on a7, or do I want to keep the knight on? No, he's going to take on b5. Can I win this pawn? Get the king in now. 10 seconds to win this. Drive the king back. That was harmless, wasn't it? Can I get the king over here? Oh! Ouch! Alright, my pawn's a bit more advanced. I can stop. Oh. I don't think he's got time to finish me off. Has he? So, yeah. Maybe I'm winning this, actually. Not sure. So, yeah, comments or questions on YouTube. I was fairly lucky there. That wasn't a great gamut with A3, that's for sure. Yeah, this was horrid, actually. So he gave me something with double pawns to work with. Comments or questions on YouTube? Thanks very much.